Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Grown and Saved Show. Listen, I got something really, really special. I'm here at the Southern Gents warehouse. These guys are the epitome and embodiment of swag and style. All right, come on, guys. Let's come on in. Let's check it out. Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's yours truly, Dave the DJ, and we are back. Welcome again to another edition of the Grown and Saved Show. And listen, y'all, I am super excited because I'm here with my homies, my good friends, the gentlemen from Southern Gents, guys. Give it up for my man, Tunde and Fola, guys. Thank y'all so much for inviting me into your space. I promise not to reveal too many secrets, you know what I'm saying?
It's all good. We're family, so we'll make it happen. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Oh man, of course, bro. Of course, man. I've been wanting to do this for so long, man. For so long. For one, fashion and style. I consider myself a fashionable dude, but y'all's vibe is like out of this world, man. Out of this world. So I definitely want to talk about,
appreciate it.
Get into some fashion. I want to get into some business stuff, man. But before we do that, I think it's very important for the world to know that me and Tunde go back. Yo.
Way back.
We go way back, dog.
Way back.
Look, we were a part of the greatest 7th grade basketball team that ever came out of A-Leaf, ever came out of the squad.
How good was Tunes?
He was all right.
I was all right. I did my thing. I did a little something.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we were both all right. We were both all right. You know what I'm saying? I was as good as a white kid could be in the squad. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
That's real good. Yeah. By SWAT standards, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But we both come a very, very long way, man. And you guys are clearly doing well for yourselves. I mean, the new space is sexy to say the least.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Which definitely matches your brand, man. But do me a favor, man, before we get started, take me back to the beginning. Or even before we do that, man, just tell us a little bit about yourselves and then we'll jump into the Southern Gents. Tunde, man, like, let us know what's up, man.
Man, all right. So, Tunde.
Where you want to start?
Right.
How far back you want to go?
Should I start in the 80s?
Maybe.
Nah, I think I'll fast forward it.
A-Leaf would be a good start.
A-Leaf. Okay. Yeah. A-Leaf kid. Went to start off at Smith Elementary.
Oh yeah.
All the way through Taylor High School, A-Leaf Taylor, 04. Just doing things ever since. Just doing what I can, giving back A-Leaf community through coaching, through the YMCA, things like that. And then, linked up with Fola in high school playing football. We used to always go back to my house. We had the A-Clique.
Oh yeah, we did. We had the A-Clique. Good old days.
The A-Clique.
I hope you wasn't gonna bring that up.
It's all good. It was good times for sure.
And the A-Clique was the African clique. So we had non-Africans who were part of the A-Clique. It was just a cool little brotherhood. Before football games, go to my crib, play Madden, just hang out, chill, things like that. Been rocking with Fola ever since. I think that was sophomore year. Yeah. So I think that's about it for me.
Yeah. That's about it, man. Tunde's super modest, y'all, man. Tunde's been making an impact in A-Leaf and throughout the whole city for years, man. But
Appreciate
we're
that.
gonna get into that a little bit later. But Fola, what's up, man? You ain't getting off the hook that easy.
No. It's cool. So yeah, like Tunde said, he and I met in high school, football team. And then once we graduated, we kind of just always stayed close. Like his house was like the hub. We go after school, play Street Fighter, Tekken, Madden, all the games, right? Tunde had the games.
Yeah, Tunde was the one with.
Tunde had the CDs. So Tunde's house was the spot. So when we graduated, we both obviously started going to college. He was working at Blockbuster, I was working at the Waffle House. It was like the good old days, right? So, and they were like down the street from each other. So we would since we had the football relationship, we're always going to like practice together. So we'd already formed a relationship. So we just kind of stayed in touch because, in high school, everybody kind of like drifts apart because it's just this period where you're starting to find yourself, right? Like it's just different because you're going from a structured environment where you're going to like 4th period, 5th period football practice. And then now it's just like you're just thrown out in the world and you just got to figure out everything. And so, like Tunde was one of the people who we just kind of like always stayed close, always connected, and tried to motivate each other. Try to make sure like, because like I said, there's no longer a timeline after high school, right? Like freshmen, some people drop out. Like classes. So we kind of like developed a structure where we would kind of like get our stuff done, during the week. But then weekends, it was time to party. So I'm like, Tunde, where we at? Like, where we going? We're going to T-Town. We're going to Coco Loco. Like, what's the spot? What's the move this week?
Them joints ain't even around
that was
anymore.
like, that was like free before 11 days. So you had to get your text in. So, we would text, make sure we're on the list. Get our outfit ready for we had our outfit Monday for Saturday and Friday.
I remember them days, dog.
We were never playing with our style. It was just back then, everything was like culture. Like you went in the clubs, you had fun, you danced. Parking lot party afterwards,
sure. The parking lot was where it was at, dog.
Exactly.
So yeah, it was a good time, like going to college, and then obviously we graduated and went into our individual careers. And at some point, we just wanted to do something, right? So I hit up Tunde, I hit up a couple of our other friends, and then we talked about this idea, which was just supposed to be like a men's lifestyle, because we were like, man, there's really nothing like upscale in the city.
Yeah.
So we started from a point of just like being a blog, like a community space. And so we started doing these kind of like after work networking hours for like young professionals. And I remember we would have these happy hours, and the first one we had was at Sam Houston Hotel downtown.
Oh yeah.
And it was a lot of pressure because we were like, oh man, we got to get people out, and we wanted a different vibe. We didn't want it to be like clubby, right? Mm-hmm. We wanted something where people could come from off work, like from an off work vibe, and just like relax, and actually get to meet other people in a genuine way, right? Hang out. Like
a real networking
exchange
but at the same time,
stuff.
not a stuffy, boring networking event.
We had that event. Somehow we pulled it off, right? We had to convince the hotel, like, this is what we're trying to do.
I should have hollered at me. I got connections at the Sam Houston Hotel.
Well, this was back in, what year did we have? That was 2012. Yeah, so that was way back in the gap, right? Mm-hmm. And it was difficult because the agenda we were trying to push, like, was foreign to, like, every establishment we talked to. Like, we're like, because usually they get those pitches all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And so here we are, 2-3 black guys. We're like, we want to have a networking event. It's not a party, I promise, right? Somehow we were able to win them over, and we had the event, and the rest was history. Yeah. The turnout was amazing. Beautiful ladies showed up. Guys showed up. Everybody was looking spiffy. Cocktails, it was good for the hotel, because what they were trying to do is to get their establishment more visible, right? They wanted more young professionals to stop by after work, have a drink. So it was a win-win for us, which we didn't really know or understand what we were starting back then. We're trying to build this brand, but we really didn't know what we wanted to do with it. At the time, we were just like a men's lifestyle blog. And we would just write articles about whatever, like how to iron a dress shirt, how to tie a tie, how to tie a bow tie.
Man, I don't even remember how I learned how to tie a tie. Like, no lie. Like,
probably,
my dad wasn't around, you know what I'm saying? I think I wore my first suit when I was in high school, and YouTube wasn't out back then.
Right.
Like, I really don't remember learning how to tie a tie.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't remember how I learned either, but now I do with my eyes closed. You know what's crazy? Tying a tie, we had to get really good at it, because some of the events that we did was how to tie a tie and how to tie a bow tie. So we would have an event and we would teach guys how to tie bow ties, and we would practice on our knees, right? Tying them, showing them. And so we all like got really, really proficient and good at it. So now we know it like the back of our hands, but like back then,
So, oh man, the first time I tied a bow tie, I was in the restroom for like 45 minutes,
bro,
sweating.
Arms stiff.
Shoulders were stiff.
No, I still struggle with bow ties.
I was like, come on, man.
Yeah. No, that's
it's like riding a bike though. Like once you get the hang of it, it's just like it's natural. You just
See, I don't have too many red carpet events where I get to rock the bow tie, but when I do, these guys keep me fresh. I mean, y'all, for one, this is probably one of my favorite jackets in my wardrobe.
You wear it well.
Yeah, you wear it well. Well, Tunde just taught me how to like sit down in this joint. I had the mug button all the way up to the top. Tunde was like, hey man, just take off one button. Like little things like that, bro, make a big difference, because I feel more comfortable and hopefully it looks well. Y'all have styled me for certain things, like red carpet events, man. And my thing was, I was like, I didn't want to look like I was trying too hard. I wanted to look good, but I didn't want to look like I was trying. You know what I'm saying? And y'all
that's
helped
a sweet
me.
Spot.
Yeah. And I think Giorgio Armani said that one time too. He was like, man, fashion and style is like, it should look effortless.
Right.
Almost like LeBron and Kobe.
Exactly.
Like these dudes are great, but they make it look easy.
Yep.
And I think that you guys have been able to accomplish that very, very well. You just go to your Instagram page or to your website. The pieces that y'all put together are like quality out of this world.
We appreciate
right?
it.
Yeah.
We
But
appreciate
y'all
it.
make it look so easy, right?
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about Southern Gents, man. Y'all took me back to how it started. You know, I know it's a lifestyle event. Y'all try to create timeless style. What is Southern Gents, though, at the heart of it?
You want to take, okay. Southern Gents, that's a great question. So I think when we started, we just wanted to kind of come up with a way to make everybody feel powerful, right? Because there's so many disparities in life, right? Like, you know, life isn't fair. We all come from different walks of life, right?
Yeah.
But you can't control if you get up in the morning if there's traffic. You know, you can't control if your boss is in a bad mood.
Especially in Houston.
Oh, yes.
You know
What I mean? So it's like a lot of things in our lives we can't control. But one of the things we learned at an early age is you could control the way you feel and the way you present yourself to everybody else. And there's this domino effect that has.
Yeah.
If you control your imagery and your presentation, it really pours back into your soul, right? When you feel good, when you look good, you feel good.
Right. Oh, straight up.
So that's just how it goes. And so our challenge has always been, okay, how do we make young men feel powerful? Because when they do feel powerful, they believe that they can conquer anything in the world.
Man, hands down.
And so at the core essence, that's what Southern Gents is about. It's really not about the clothes, it's not about fashion, it's a lifestyle. So we use our platform as a way to motivate. We started with young men, but now we're getting into women's to motivate everybody and to create an eco space and a platform where everybody feels welcome and everybody can take something away that's purposeful in their life.
Yeah.
No lie, man. And I think you said something that's super, super key. When you look good, you feel good. I went through I had got viral meningitis years and years ago, and I lost like 40 pounds in the course of 2 weeks. Like my equilibrium was off. I looked horrible. I had to learn how to walk again. And it's funny, during my recovery, this came from my doctor, a medical professional who went to med school. He looked at me, he didn't prescribe me anything. He said, go home, get a haircut, take a bath, like just fix yourself up.
Right.
Like that was his prescription for me.
Yep.
He was like, cause I'm telling you, when you look good, you feel good. Now, of course, throughout that course, I had been prescribed some other stuff and things like that. But one of his things for me was to like, go home, take care of yourself, get a haircut, fix yourself up, and you'll feel better. And no lie, like lo and behold, I began to slowly start to see myself recover a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So man, that's super dope, man. That's super dope. Tell me this though, Southern Gents, right? Gentlemen. I want to know, man. There's so much debate on right now about the gentleman. Like, what is your definition of a true gentleman?
I think, you know, the word gentleman and definition is subjective depending on the individual and their experiences and what they know about life.
Yeah.
For me personally, a gentleman is someone who carries himself a certain way, who presents themselves appearance-wise a certain way, and who conducts themselves, you know, in a very, you know, courteous yet humble kind of way. You know, someone who is very, you know, caring, understanding, respectful, and you know, just those ideologies, you know, just kind of sum up what it is to be a gentleman. You know, and you know that can be, you know, defined or exemplified in different ways, depending on the situation or what's going on. But just at the core of a gentleman, I think for me, like that's how I, you know, define myself as a gentleman.
Yeah,
Very well said.
Yeah, no, straight up, man. I always picture the dude with the fedora, with the three-piece suit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we switch. That's one thing about us. We switch. Like sometimes we do ball caps. Like we switch it up.
Yeah.
But it's just about, you know, feeling like nothing can hold you back, right? That's just a gentleman's look. And like Tunde said, it's the gentleman's attitude. And it's the attitude that takes you places, right? It's kind of like the cat and mouse game. You can't have one without the other.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you see a lot of people now on social media, they look the part.
Right.
But then like at the core, it's not really there, right? So you always have to have that foundation as an attitude, which is why when we post on social media, we try to make sure our posts are meaningful, right? And we try to make sure it's relevant and it's contextual, because we just don't want our customers just looking good. We want them to feel different, right? We came from a standpoint where we felt like everything was about brand and everything was about price point. Like how much did you spend on this? Like people started feeling like you had to spend a certain amount of money to like look and feel good. So our goal is to just to disrupt the entire market and to just do what we do by being who we are and leading by example. It's a huge responsibility, but it's something that we're extremely passionate about and just comes natural to us. That's just who we've been since day one, right?
Yeah.
Like our friendship is not just a friendship, it's a brotherhood, right? So giving other people a window, a perspective into like the way that we live is super infectious. And vice versa, we bring other people on our platform to share a little bit about their story, and we could all take in something and learn from that. And that's really what a gentleman is, you know? Like just realizing that how important you are to the entire ecosystem, and to understand at the same time is really not about you. It's like this weird dichotomy of being able to balance two different mindsets at the same time.
Like, what are you bringing to the table to further, advance society and civilization? Nah, bro, I really do feel like this brotherhood, like you're a part of some secret society. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what people think. People hear Southern Gents, they're like,
how can I be a Southern Gent?
Yeah, they send us DMs. They send us DMs and like, oh, I just want to join the movement.
That's all it is, dog. Like,
all you got to do is hit follow.
That's all you got to do is hit follow, man. No, I'm not gonna lie though. When I wear anything that I've gotten from you guys, I do feel different. Like, I've been able to like rock with different celebrities because of my time at like Radio 1 and 97 on the Box, and I never felt like out of place. Right. Like if I wear this, I feel like I'm supposed to be there. You feel me? When y'all set me up for that red carpet, and I'm talking about people who were winning these lifetime achievement awards, I was like, man, I feel like they're about to call my name next. You know what I'm saying? I just felt good, man. So like that's super dope. But I think one thing about me though, personally, like I've pulled back in terms of fashion a lot. Like Tunde could tell you, like back in the day at Elsic, like I was known as like the fly guy, right? Like the flyest white guy or whatever. But as I've gotten older, I've tried to like pull back a little bit and just be a little bit more subtle, a little bit more simple. Like I'm a dad, right? I got 5 kids. And for all I know, you
just had a newborn. Just not even 2 months
like
yet.
Fresh.
Yes, sir.
Fresh. That's where the sleep in the eyes comes from. Man. You look good though, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But I've pulled back a lot because like I've noticed that with 5 kids and my lifestyle, like I could get super dressed up, and in a matter of seconds, I could have like throw up or. You know what I'm saying? It's frustrating, it wears me out, but that's what I love about you guys. Like, y'all don't just have the, the freshest of the fresh and the red carpet, but you got stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? And I still feel equally powerful rocking something like this versus like the 3-piece suit. Like
that's great feedback. That's great. We need to hear that. So, because sometimes like every product on our shelf is essentially in competition, wouldn't you say, with the others? So we're always, because it's like we're trying to create like this capsule collection, and it does shift sometime. We move pieces around, so it's like we're always looking at like, all right, does this really belong? Like, how do people feel about this item? So it's great to hear that feedback that the varsity jacket is your go-to, because it's different for everybody. Man. And that's what we try to do, is we try to put out something for everyone. No, this is like this is the equivalent. That's your bulletproof vest. It's my bulletproof vest, y'all. Y'all heard it first. I was gonna say it's like the equivalent of like a fresh pair of all white Air Force Ones, right? Gotcha. Like those are like a staple. You can't not have a wardrobe without some of those. And I feel like I'm pulling this out in any weather, right? Most definitely. So check this out, man. Again, Giorgio Armani, like fashion icon guru, right? So I Googled this, and he's quoted as saying, the difference between style and fashion is quality, right? Style and fashion is quality. And I think I'd love to hear what you guys think about that, because I know that y'all are in the business of creating style, timelessness, right? So what do you guys think about that, man? And how have y'all worked hard to achieve that?
Oh man, I'm just gonna speak and I'm give it to this guy, because I know this guy has had many sleepless nights over the past years, because quality is at the utmost importance to us, on top of customer service and just experience, overall experience. But quality is everything. If you have a product and it's poor in quality, then it doesn't allow you to build on your brand and the forward trajectory that you want to go as a brand. So I know Fola, he does all of our designing for all of our items and things like that. So I know like his focus is on quality and the amount of research.
One conversation, bro, and he took me through I was like, damn. No,
when I tell you the amount of research that this guy has put in, like over the years, it's something to admire for sure. Because I mean, anytime we design something from our hats to our boots, it's of the utmost highest quality. And if it's not, we're not going to put it out there.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So we want to make sure that whenever our customers receive any of our product, if you look at our reviews, man, it makes me feel a certain kind of way when we get the feedback like, oh man, this is dope. Man, we had we had one customer who I think they got a hat, and the review they left was like, man, I went to go pick up my son from the daycare, and I had all the mamas checking me out or whatever. Like it was hilarious, but he was so serious.
But bro.
It's stuff like that you know what I'm saying, that kind of reminds you of why you're doing this and keeps you going, you know. So just getting that great feedback when people say this is excellent quality, like, you know, we have people who have such brand loyalty with us. They're like, look, I'm not buying a hat from anyone else. I'm gonna wait until you guys restock this particular hat, and I'm gonna purchase it. We have customers who have pretty much everything we have in our warehouse in their collection and just growing, you know. So that speaks something to, you know, something that we're doing right, you know, in terms of, you know, the overall experience the customers having and the overall quality that our products, you know, give to a customer.
Yeah. I mean, this is not the first time I've worn this jacket, clearly, right? But it still looks great. Like that,
it looks brand new.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Clean.
I do. I hang it up. It's like that mint condition baseball card that you got when you were a kid.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Definitely.
Frame that joint, man. Man, y'all have worked with some of the coolest people on the planet in terms of influencer marketing, right? Mm-hmm. Just to name a few, my homie, Chris Pope, you know what I'm saying? We got to keep it in the SWAT, right? Mm-hmm. Reeks, Jonathan Martin, and then of course my favorite, I've never even met him, but he's like my favorite influencer, Irv Randall.
Yeah.
Man, my man Irv is
OG
so smooth,
Yeah.
man. I swear, like as I increase in age, I hope that I'll be as graceful as
He
him.
inspires us all. He inspires us all.
I'm just saying. But with that being said, influencer marketing, social media, how has that like helped, you know, your bottom line, and not just bringing in more followers on IG, but literally how has it impacted your revenue?
So we have a different perspective to influencer marketing. We actually don't look at it that way, like trying to find influencers. Our focus is on building relationships. And so, like, when you bring up Irvin, you know, we've been talking about a gentleman, Southern Gent, like, what does that really mean? I mean, what better embodiment of a gentleman, someone who is, you know, plus 50 and still doing it, right? Because a lot of us think that, like, oh, okay, like, this is your heyday, 20, 30, and after that, like, your life is over, so you got to do it all now.
Let me tell you, man, Irv gives me so much hope for the future.
Exactly. It's like, look, you can never stop. It's like there's no kind of, your time is not expired till it's like over. Like, you can still be who you want to be. So I can't even really remember how we met Irvin, but when we met with Irvin, it was really organic. He was a perfect fit, and he loved the brand, and he wanted to just be a part of the brand. And so we just did a couple of photo shoots, like, hey, like, pick what products you like come out, like, you know, we're in Houston, let's shoot, let's put a shoot together. And we did one shoot and he killed it. I mean, that's what Irvin does. He's just like, he's a natural. So, and he loves the products, he loves everything that we stand for. So whenever we get into these relationships with influencers, we try to figure out a partnership, right? Because that's essentially what it is. We don't try to find people who can just like push our brand forward. We look for opportunities where we can create mutually beneficial relationships. So Irvin, okay, what are you trying to do, Irvin? Like, Mr. Randall, like where do you see Mr. Randall platform going, and how can we support that? And so we find the synchronization between how he can be a great fit for our brand, and also how we could help push him to the next level and being as big as he can be, because this is all about influence, right?
For sure.
We also look at ourselves as a brand influencer, right? Like, we're not just out here.
But that's
like,
where the harmony
stuff.
exists, though, right?
Exactly.
In that synchronization, right? When there's some harmony, when there's mutual, like a win-win, right? Like, otherwise, you kind of miss the mark.
Exactly.
You look like you're trying too hard, right? And it doesn't seem genuine, it doesn't seem authentic, and it doesn't seem real.
And we've all seen this. We've seen commercials. We've seen celebrities do commercials, and you like, that was like, that wasn't
How much they pay him?
That wasn't really it. Like, you know, running across the screen with like a Popeye chicken or something like that. We try not to, you know, basically do anything that we feel like is not representative of us, but we're
Right.
super serious about whenever we decide to work with someone, it not just being an opportunity for us, but we try to make sure we can pour back into that person so they feel like they're getting their just due. Because it can't always be money, right?
Sure.
Anybody, like any financially, a monetary transaction, it always comes to an end. If it's just about how much we're able to pay you or how much they're able to get paid, then it's just like we don't really, it creates more of an opportunity to not have like the proper trust that we need, right? So we try to make sure that whatever we do, our vision is always aligned with whoever is on the other end of the table.
Yeah.
It takes me to something I learned from the YMCA through one of our trainings is to be transformational versus transactional. You know, when you're transactional, you're not cultivating that relationship. When you're transformational, you're cultivating a relationship that's going to foster for years upon years upon years, if not a lifetime. So that's what we're all about, Southern Gents. We're all about the transformational impact we're going to have versus the transactional impact.
It reminds me of something a little less deep, but it's like hitting the green on. It's like hitting the green on NBA 2K21. You know what I'm saying? Like you might make it if you close, but when you hit that green, that green, it's going
chance.
in every single time.
Yeah.
Right?
So to answer that question, if there's an influence that anybody ever sees on the Southern Gents platform, that's family to us.
Yep.
Yeah.
If they're having a birthday party, we're there. If they're getting married, like, okay, what do we got to do to support? We buying gifts, whatever, because that's our family. It's not just like some influencer brand partnership. Like that's an extension of Southern Gents.
Yeah, that's that real secret society.
You said it.
I'm just no, tell me this, if because I know social media has been good to you guys, right? I also know it's not your only marketing stream, right? It's probably one component of the marketing matrix, right? If social media were to go away today, right? Like what are you doing beyond that to bring in new clients, new revenue? Or is it just like social media, hey man, we running Facebook
That's a great
ads?
question. That's a great question. You want to go first?
Go ahead, I'm processing.
The first question, the way I'd rebuttal that question is, what do you consider social media? Like, is social media just like
That's
Instagram,
good.
or are you talking about the internet too? Like, are you talking about like Google Images? Are you talking about YouTube? Like, what exactly are we talking about?
Right.
There's a different answer if social media goes away, but then there's a different conversation if the internet goes away.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, in order for me to properly answer that question, you would have to help us clarify.
Okay, so let's just say, let's keep the internet. Let's keep the internet on the table.
Keep the internet.
We can still Shopify. We can still reach out. We can you still have MailChimp and email marketing, all that good stuff. You still got your sexy website, but no Instagram, no Facebook, no. We'll take YouTube off the table too.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So how would we market? Then we go back to, so now you're talking about probably pre-2000, right?
Yeah.
Dinosaur years.
Before the internet really took off. We would just go back to the nitty gritty, which number one is word of mouth, right?
Yeah.
And Tanae just talked about like how meticulous we are when it comes with regards to quality, right?
Yeah.
So just from the standpoint of taking pride in every single product, every single customer, every single order we fulfill, that's a marketing engine, right? Because people are talking. Just you wearing that jacket out, it's like, yo, where'd you get that? Like you wear that to the Astros game, it's over, it's lit. Like everybody wants to know.
Daycare.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put you in trouble. Like
You know what I'm saying?
I don't want no
usually the fellas
problems.
that will ask.
Yeah, I don't want
where you get
I don't
that
want to
jacket,
settle
dog?
like, hey, y'all try to get David caught up. Nah. So word of mouth would be a big one, and then two, the way we look at our brand is not about us. It's never about us. It's a lifestyle. So as long as people are walking around doing what they do, going to work, attending events, like we're going with you, right? So if there's a basketball game and Braun is playing or whatever, and you just see him rocking a dope fedora, you see it on TV. If the internet were to go away, as long as people are alive and breathing, our product has a place and a market, because we go with people like wherever they are, right? Like it's about the lifestyle. So as long as the one thing that could shut us down completely would be a total world shutdown, like 28 days later, like a real lockdown, like you can't go nowhere, right? And so, which brings us into COVID. You know, that was a big, scary situation for us, because when the lockdown happened, we were wondering like, what does this mean for us, right? Because we're an e-commerce business. people aren't being allowed to go anywhere, right? Everybody has to stay quarantined.
Shoot, like real talk, boys is at home in their jammies.
Exactly.
Like just chill, like there's no reason to get dressed up. Now I was one who for like the first month, I psyched myself out and I was like, look, I'm still gonna get dressed. Even though I'm sitting in front of my computer, right? I'm still gonna get dressed. But then after a month, I was like, nah, man, I'm sticking to the basketball shorts and my J's.
Yeah, and that was an interesting period for us. So, you know, talking about what happens when platforms taper off or if things change in the world, that was probably the biggest transformation in our lifetime that we've seen, right? Like if we told you a year ago that like, David, this entire year is going to be completely shut down, you're not going to be able to do anything. You like it's the same thing you're saying. No Rockets games, no Astros games, no parties, no red carpet events, nothing. And you wouldn't believe it, but it happened. And somehow we were able to pull through. And through the same
how?
How? So we were kind of shocked because we obviously tapered off in revenues. We had a stalemate period. Like, you know, there was a period where nobody knew what was going on, and we were all trying to figure things out. So everybody was kind of like, I don't know what's going on right now. I'm not buying anything. But after about 6 weeks into the initial lockdown in March, we started just doing like numbers that we were doing before pre-lockdown, pre-COVID. And the only way for us to make sense of it is that people really believe in our quality. And the human behavior is one that just has a natural instinct of optimism. So even though people weren't going anywhere, people must have just seen our website, and it actually allowed them more time to digest our information. And like, I can't wear this right now, but I believe in this item, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it while they still have it. And so we kept making sales, and somehow we're thankful. Glory be to God, we're still here. So it's just about believing in what you're doing, and if you ask us, just having purpose. And I think that our customers are able to feel that, like, every piece of content that we put out is purposeful. If it's just an Instagram post or a TikTok video or a YouTube video, like, we're not out here to just spam. We're out here to add value.
Come on.
And also, just to add to that, you know, just the engagement and interactions that our customers have, they realize that they're just not another order number to us. Like, they are actually human being, and we humanize them, you know, through either email conversation, if they're able to get a phone number for us, or just through our chat, you know, and even through our Instagram or our Facebook or whatever. Like, the ability for us to, you know, engage in conversation, and then I guess for many of them, they're like, oh, they're regular human beings like us. Like, they're humble. Like, they provide us with their opinions, their suggestions, things like that. It's not like we just treat them like another number where we ignore them or anything like that. So I think for many individuals, you know, that builds a sense of trust and a sense of community. And then they're like, all right, Southern Gents, I'm going to rock with these guys or whatnot. So
no doubt, man.
And Tene is like king of operations. We always like commend him on the team. He is, just like he said, he thinks of the customer first, right? So he's in charge of making sure every customer gets their order on a timely basis. So every order, he makes sure that our guys ship it and fulfillment on a timely basis, that they get their tracking number. If they want something swapped before order is shipped, it gets done. So we really take pride in every time someone chooses to place an order. He treats it like Jay-Z. It's like, you can get anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. So we appreciate it. And that's something that we don't take lightly. And that goes a long way. That's really the beginning of business is building relationships. And nothing comes first other than maintaining that relationship with the customer.
I think Gary Vee once said the biggest marketing tactic is to care. It's to care.
1,000%.
You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, just show me that you care. Whether you make a mistake or whether you get it right, you know what I'm saying? Like, just show genuine concern.
Absolutely.
And it goes a long way, man. It goes a long way. Man, I'm super glad that y'all were able to kind of like coast through that COVID scare, because a lot of folks
It was rough. It was rough. We definitely had our ups and downs. Don't get me wrong. Like, we survived, but you know, it was an opportunity for us to step back and really look at our business a little bit differently. And because we've kind of always been prudent, we were able to pull through, but there were also a lot of lessons that we came out of from COVID.
You just glazed over something real quick. Because we've always been prudent. Because we've always been prudent, man, how important is that, man? I don't want to spend too much time on that, but no, let me tell you, I know so many business. I saw a post the other day that said, don't pull it out. And it was like a shock post because he was like, get y'all's mind out the gutter. But what he was saying was like, when you start a business, like boys first, when they start seeing profits, they always want to like, oh, we're making money, right? But no, like reinvest, put it back into the business. Dog, how important was it for you guys to be prudent? And what does that look like, dog?
Oh man.
Because I already know two weeks frugal on the regular. Like,
so you know, because we kind of focus on business, we actually don't talk a lot about like the personal sacrifices we've all made to like bring stuff this far. So
it's an entrepreneur out there right now that needs to hear this.
One of the big success stories and behind the scenes for us is that we kind of did this as a night hustle for a really long time, right? So what that meant was that we kept our day jobs, and not because we didn't believe in the business, because we understood like at the point, like retail is a game of reinvestment. Like you put out 10 products, you get sold out, you got to come back with 20, because that means your fan base just grew larger. In order to come out with 20, you have to have the funding. You're not going to get funding from a bank or an investor, like at least not where we come from. Like coming out doing this, this is a very scary business model.
You couldn't just walk in and chase.
A lot of institutions just don't believe in retail. It's just not the most, sexy, like proven, business there is. So with that, we kind of like just did this with our own funds, with our own money, right? The first couple of orders we did through basically taking turns with our other business partners, swapping credit cards, meaning you go this time, blow your stuff up, max it up all the way.
Come on.
And it was funny because in a weird way, they give everybody skin in the game.
Oh, for
right?
sure.
So if you have a credit card and you have a 5,000 limit and you just put it on credit, right? You just max it out. You want to get that paid.
Come on.
And so you're going to work twice as hard to make sure those sales get made, right? And then you're going to automatically hold everybody else on the team accountable. Like, hey man, like, look, my credit on the line right now. So it's like
it's exactly. Q1 is on you, Q2 is on you.
We did that round and round, and not to go off on, forever on the topic, but we did not pull out $1 from the business till 2019, right before COVID.
But how many years was that?
So we went
inception?
from inception, I would say like about 6 years.
6 years without actually pulling out. See, that's commitment. That's what I wanted to get to. That's prudence, right? Yeah. That is true. Like, man, dog. Because
we understood it wasn't for us, it wasn't about the money. We were trying to build something, right? And we understood that if we're trying to build this vessel, build this ship that we're all trying to be a part of and be able to have the opportunity to be on a success ship for the rest of our lives, you can't afford to take away from it, right? You can't afford to you get a little payday and then you take out chunks. That has to go back into business. There's so many things that we needed. We needed better cameras. Tune's like, hey, we need a thermal printer. I'm like, what's a thermal printer? Like, I don't know what that is.
Everybody had their own skill set too.
We were using just regular tape, and we needed a tape machine. So it's like there were so many things that we actually needed. And we needed to make sure we had the resources because it was 100% on us. So it was bootstrapping to the highest level. Yeah. And that gave us a different sense of appreciation for the business and where we are now. And we've grown quite a bit in size. We're able to do more, but we're still very, very practical about every dollar. Before we make an expenditure or an investment, we have internal discussions, and discuss, is this something that we really need, right? Is this a need or a want? Is this something we could do without? So that's prudency for us, and that's what's kept the Southern Gents brand alive.
And that's a part of being a gentleman too, man. Managing your finances.
Come on, let's just
be real.
Say that.
Good stewardship is a good quality of being a gentleman, right? Look, let's talk fashion for a second, man. Let's talk fashion for a second. I got one thing I want to ask, and then I'm going to let y'all share a couple of things. But, dog, one of my pet peeves is, I don't know if it's my body shape or what, but like anytime I wear some nice slacks and a really nice button down, and I don't feel like putting on a blazer, how do you avoid getting that stupid little overflap? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when
in a shirt?
Yes, dog. Like when your shirt comes untucked a little bit, like.
How do you do it?
Am I not describing it correctly? Is there a term for that?
I don't know what the correct term is, but yeah, I think we're familiar with what you're saying. So
I used to just think I was out of shape, dog. That's all I thought.
What's your secret?
I think tailoring is a big one, right? So if the shirt is properly tailored, it should kind of like have a flow, like through your torso, like be tapered in the waist. So that way there's not a lot of excess fabric that pulls up, right? So if you, so when you're tailoring your shirts, you usually want to go 2 darts in the back, right?
Okay.
That kind of like, usually a lot of people like end with the shirt being just taken in at the side, but the two darts like shrink that excess fold over. And then your pants also being the right size, because if your pants are loose and you're trying to keep things tight with a belt, so tailoring is key. Let's just say tailoring. You just got to get tailored, right?
Yeah.
This is the era of getting tailored. There's a tailor on every street corner.
Every corner.
So
and they're not I used to think that they were like excessively expensive. Like only rich people have tailors.
They used to be because you would only find them in higher end stores. Like you go to Nordstrom or you go to K&G, a higher end formal, or like I remember like for prom we would go to like Al's prom rentals, right?
Man,
like,
I saw prom pictures, bro. Like I saw, man.
Oh man. Oh man.
Don't roast us too much.
Hey, me too. Stacey Adams head to toe.
Right.
All white. I don't know what I was thinking, bro. But yes,
we all been there. But it's really all tailoring. If you tailor it correctly, like especially a combination of proper shirt tailoring and proper trouser tailoring, and everything just kind of like meshes together.
Right.
And then you kind of like lay that over with some light layering with the blazer, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
I like to hide mine with a blazer.
Yeah.
So if I have a blazer,
I move a lot, you know what I'm saying?
And if I'm not wearing a blazer, personally, we both like to go vest, right?
Yeah.
So we're not wearing a blazer and it's a formal event. We're gonna like, it just gives you, it traps everything, right?
I like the vest because I can roll up my sleeves and show off my tats. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, you can be edgy and swaggy at the same time.
At the same time.
Yep.
Best of both worlds.
All right, so tell me this though. Give me like your top. It don't have to be top 5. Like I don't want you pulling your brain, but give me some of your top fashion tips. Like these are like the essentials, right?
Okay.
For any man, you walking into a store, or you know, just some of the things that you've thought of recently. Because I know y'all are putting out some really dope videos, right? Like how to wear a fedora and things like that.
sure.
So what are some things that we can look forward to? You know, in terms of like
5 tips, like
yeah,
that any guy
it could be anything. It don't have to be 5.
5 tips. Where would
like,
you start? We'll do 5.
Okay,
put
come on,
us
we'll
on
do
the
5.
spot
Let's go.
a little bit. Put us on the spot a little bit.
You know what I'm saying?
First thing.
I would say for me, in my personal wardrobe, when it comes to my pants, like Fola said, everything I have is tailored.
Even jeans?
Jeans, oh yeah. You
You gotta have a taper. You gotta have a taper.
You
at the-
gotta have it
at the
tapered,
right-
and then the length got to be proper to the point where if you want to do a cuff,
Yeah.
you leave enough for a cuff, and then sometimes you don't want to do a cuff, so you want to just get it tapered right
there,
right where the shoe begins.
Okay.
You know, just depending on what you're wearing. So that's one thing that I like, and then also for my shirts. I'm not as small as I used to be, so a lot of my old shirts no longer fit me.
It's because he's working out, dog.
You know,
Like, it's 'cause he working out.
He's gonna be pushing the world at the gym.
So basically getting my shirts tailored, you know, to my physique, you know, just because it feels good. It feels good on me, and it looks good as well. Mm-hmm. You know, and then it accentuates, you know, the guns I work hard for.
Come on,
you know.
hey.
So, you know, I mean, what's the point of working out if you can't, you know what I'm saying, just a couple times, you know, just a little bit.
I feel you. What you got?
So Tunde just gave us 2 shirts, you know, shirts tailored, basically basics, right?
Yeah.
Shirts tailored, pants properly hemmed. That'll change up your style, right? And with those 2 right there,
It's like going to the barbershop and getting the edge up.
but you don't really have to even buy anything new,
Yeah.
right? It's like, what can you do with what you already have, right? So 2 right there, getting just the right pieces tailored, upper and lower body items, big one. Me, third, I would go with a layering piece, right? Every guy needs to have like solid layering pieces, right? If it's like, we don't usually think about them in this manner.
Because
So
what is a layering piece?
it could be anything that you wear over a basic. So the first one I will go with is like we just talked about, a vest, right? People vest is a layering piece. It is a layering piece because you take a t-shirt, a white tee, and you wear it with some blue jeans and a pair of nice boots or sneakers, and you put a vest over it. You just dressed up.
Just a regular white tee. One of them $14 white tees you just cop from Target.
Yep.
Exactly. And then you take that a notch higher, and then you swap the vest out and you wear a blazer. Now you're ready for dinner or a casual business meeting. So it's like, these are pieces that we find a lot of guys usually don't have. Like guys usually have a bunch of pants, a bunch of sneakers, a bunch of t-shirts, but the layering pieces are the stuff that really separates you and makes people take you just that much more serious. Second thing I would go with is accessories. There's no like accessories could be anything. It could be when you're wearing a nice suit like a nice suit can be easily ruined with a horrible tie, right? So really understanding like accessories, like fabrics, like textures, what colors work well together. And it doesn't always have to be over the top. Like I think a black tie is like the one must-have tie.
Oh, for sure.
A black tie in the right width. You could wear it with any color. You could wear it with the navy suit. You could wear it with the brown suit, a red suit. It's just gonna mute everything and bring it all together. You know, I like rings, obviously. So I like rings, bracelets, things like that, watches. All these things you kind of start building on. Like we started with like, Tunde started off with tailoring, like, you know, shirts, you know, pants. And then now you add accessories, you add a nice watch, a nice tie, or a nice lid. And it's like, boom, it starts looking like you go from like $20 look to like, it looks like you spent $1,500, right? Just by bringing everything together. So how many is that? That's 3 or 4?
That's 4. Man, that might have been like 10. I don't know. It sounded like a lot.
Layering and accessory. And then the last thing I would say is just kind of, I think one of my biggest tips is really understanding style and understanding pieces and understanding like the versatility of pieces, how to juxtapose. And that's really like our Southern Gent like sweet spot, right? Bro. Like how to
when you get creative,
be casual and like not too uptight, right? So what we usually do is we'll go from like a super dressy piece and we'll pair that with something edgy, right? Like, so for example,
I don't mean to interrupt you, but y'all are like experts in the game on this, bro. Like,
I mean, this is what we do. Like just like you're on the radio all the time and you do interviews, it's like we do this every day. You know, we style shoots, we design product, like we research, we really look at like, and now it's like with the internet, we have access to the entire world. So it's an unfair advantage. So we're seeing styles from way back when in the 50s and the 60s, 90s, and we're just kind of like blending styles together. So like we'll take like a very classy piece, like a blazer or a vest, and we'll mix that with like some distressed jeans and some boots or some sneakers. And it's just like, oh, like, man, like,
hold up,
that looks fly, but it's not too uptight. Like, that's perfect for happy hour.
I can wear that. I can wear it.
So just understanding how to, or we'll take like a biker jacket, pair it with some slacks, put a tie on it, and it's like, now it's like, man, it's edgy, but it's still formal. Like I could wear that I could take my girl out, you know, and we could go out to Steak 48 and I don't feel like I'm not wearing a suit, because that's actually one of the things that we struggle with the most is like, for us personally, for specific events, like dressing just right. Not being too, Tunde and I talk about this all the time, not being overdressed. Like you don't want to look like you just came out of like Sunday service, right? Going to dinner, like you got a full suit on. So it's like,
or if you know, in Houston, many of us wear many hats, right? No pun intended. We're entrepreneurs, we're family men, we go to church, we do this, we do that. And it's like, I want to wear the same thing all day. Right? If I have multiple different business meetings or, you know, gatherings that I have to attend, I don't want to have to like pull out some jeans and then, all right, man, I gotta go change real quick. Like, no, I can really like wear one thing and go to all my functions and still fit.
And even if it's not one thing all day, close to one thing, you could just have that one item that you keep in the trunk, right? Like say you wear that jacket for your lifestyle, you know, doing what you do is really dynamic. So a lot of casual, but then let's say you have something formal in the evening, just having a navy blazer in the back of your car, perfect, because you just take that, swap that out, put it over the white t-shirt.
Fresh white tee.
Wear your jeans.
Just bought this on my way over here.
wear your jeans over the sneakers, and you know, just switch it, like make it like kind of like more like a dress boot, like tie up the sneaker, and you'll look clean. Add a pocket square in a blazer, and you're good to go.
Those little details, like the jean over the sneaker, like, oh,
it's the little things. It's the little things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we leave, give me, and again, this don't have to be top 5. I need to know your fashion don'ts.
Fashion
don'ts,
okay,
like the things that you see that make you cringe. And you ain't got to go back to 2004, because we all know the mistakes that we've made. We don't have to relive that stuff. I'm talking about now. I want to hear like some of the things that make you cringe in terms of fashion that you like, bro, like, wow.
Man, I just feel like I saw this the other week when I went out, and I was like, bruh, like.
Because we can go back and we can talk about the tall tees, we can talk about the excessive baggy jeans. You know what I'm saying? But like, what is going on currently that you're just like, no, that's like, do not avoid at all costs.
Okay, I'll go first on this one because it's a little difficult. I think now it's actually more difficult because there's really no trends, right? Where we are today is like, you know, people wearing 90s stuff, people wearing like futuristic stuff, like everything's fair game, right? So it's kind of hard to say like don'ts. For me, don'ts come to like body type. When I see people who are not the right cut for something, wearing something, right? Like for me personally, I'm 5'9". I have no business wearing crop pants. It just makes me look even shorter, and it looks out of place. I'm not
even in a photo shoot where we can't really tell how tall you are?
It's just not, you know, you got to know your body type and what works best for you, right? So skinny jeans is skinny jeans, right? Like, and because everyone's wearing it, it kind of leads other people to think that they should wear it too. When, if we were to, which we really need to do this in one of our YouTube series, is like maybe take a bigger guy and do a before and after, and because people get tricked into believing like just because everybody's doing something, that's the way to go, right? A pair of relaxed jeans looks way cleaner and more stylish on a bigger guy than skinny jeans does. It just kind of like highlights your not so sexy features. So we're all trying to look our best, right? It's presentation. You got to find what works for you. So for me, that would be a don't, is like not knowing what items fit you best. No,
that's real. That's real.
I think for me, a big I don't understand is still today like sagging, right?
Oh my God.
Like boys be rocking their designer belts, and I guess they want people to see it, and yet they're sagging. I just cringe. I'm like, why?
It's
like,
just uncomfortable, dog.
It makes me uncomfortable when I see it. I'm just like, why are you doing this? Like, I'm like,
I get the belt thing though, because you remember back in the day when we was in high. You remember when the two-way pagers came out?
I had my Tunde belt.
Oh my God.
I had my Tunde belt.
I remember. But you remember we had the Versace belts, right? They were literally metal. We used to have the Versace belts, and we had the two-way pagers, and you'd have your Mitchell and Ness on, and your jersey would literally come to your knees.
I remember
but
that.
you would tuck it in just so you could see the two-way. You know what I'm saying?
So that was the style of the time.
I get it.
You know, things change.
But
that didn't really require sagging, because you know you got to keep it up, right?
Your pants were already so big.
They're so big. Wearing a size 38, weighing 165.
I had no business wearing a 3X shirt, dog. I had no business whatsoever wearing a 3X, dog.
But now it's fashionable, oversized wear. You know, people find the right cuts. People pull it off.
I feel you. But you mentioned something a couple of times that I think is going to be key that you guys are starting to work on, your YouTube channel, which I think is amazing. You're going to be sharing some tips just like you did here. Tell me a little bit about that and what we can expect from you guys in the future.
Yeah. So our YouTube series we've always kind of focused on photo and trying to show our pieces in different ways to rock different styles, but we just noticed that it was hard to translate a lot of the things that we were trying to convey in photo, right? Like we need the items moving. Like we really need to do like a one item three-way. Like, you know, they say like a picture is worth 1,000 words, but what would you say about a video?
Come on.
So that's something there, you know, it's one of our big things with our brand is consistency.
Sure.
So we hadn't really got to it because we knew where we were at. We weren't able to be consistent. And we didn't want to just start and stop doing something. So now we're finally at a place where we feel like we could consistently put out content. Because it's like we said earlier, it's all about providing value, right?
Yeah.
So we're really excited about, you know, showing the customers more ways to wear stuff. You know, we just added some more production to the team. You know, we hired a new creative talent, which we're really excited about. And so now it's just time to continue to grow our brand and have fun doing it, right? We're not just going to stick with style videos. We have a series called Introspective. We're going to dive into people's individual lifestyle, where they talk about like their past transgressions or like things that they've struggled with in the past, just things that really...
It pushes the style or it takes the fashion into style.
Exactly.
Right? It goes beyond fashion into style, because now you get to hear about, all right, this dude looks dope, right? He's super fly, swagged out, and now it's like, okay, well, this is his life.
And this is what he's going through on a daily basis, and this is how he dresses, right? It just helps put things in context, because for us, that's what we're all about. Like we're trying to be a really realistic brand, which is kind of like an oxymoron in the fashion world. It's just like everything looks good, but how much of it is realistic?
Yeah.
So we're most excited about that because it gives us an opportunity to really tell stories and dive deeper. And it's something that we really haven't been able to do a good job of with photo.
I think that's what I really, really love about you guys is that dedication to realism, right, and practicality. Like when you look at your Instagram page, it's very polished, right? But to some degree, I don't feel like you're untouchable. Right, like I feel like this is for me too. Like I'm just a regular dude from SWAT, right? Like I'm not nothing fancy, nothing over the top. Like, but I feel like I can be a part. You know what I'm saying? And I think that you guys have managed to achieve that juxtaposition, right, very, very well.
Thanks,
and
man.
I think
That's big.
Hey, bro.
That's big. We appreciate it.
And I think that the YouTube channel is just gonna like skyrocket that even further. Like,
we hope so.
Because I mean, like we just had a whole conversation about like tips and do's and don'ts, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
like we're taking notes.
I was I literally.
We got to put out a segment on this.
Yeah, seriously.
Sure. Those are great questions, by the way.
Hey, appreciate
and that's
you,
what
man.
we love. We love having an opportunity for others outside the brand to give us feedback because we are creating for you guys, right? Like we're trying to figure out what people want to know. We want to know how we can provide more value.
Yeah, I'm always worried. Like, again, my thing is I never want to look like I'm trying too hard. So, like, whether it's an accessory or a tie, or I don't ever want to walk out and be like, okay, like, he trying too hard. You know what I'm saying? I want to feel just comfortable in what I'm rocking. So I got two more things for you guys, man. I really appreciate y'all for inviting, and having us out, man.
No doubt.
You mentioned about COVID and the challenges that presented. I'm sure there's been many, many obstacles and challenges along the way. I mean, just any entrepreneurial effort poses its own challenges, right? Tell me this, man, because you guys are talented, you're intelligent, you have all the wherewithal, the resources to make it happen. But tell me that moment, man, or maybe multiple moments where you thought that, man, I don't know if we're gonna be able to keep doing this, right? Where you had to dig a little deeper and go further than your marketing strategy. You had your marketing strategy only took you so far, right? Where you had to actually activate your faith to where it's like, all right, it's either we turn it back or we gonna keep pushing, right? Yeah. Did you ever have one of those moments?
Oh yeah.
Or multiple moments?
I remember when we used to meet at the Starbucks in the Galleria area.
Good old Starbucks, man.
And then we had like that center table. And then this is when we were transitioning from selling, because we started just selling accessories, so like pocket squares, neckties, lapel pins, things like that. And then we were transitioning, our business model, for like to the footwear apparel side. And at this time I'm at the YMCA making my salary, and then the conversation was, hey, we got to put in $5,000 a piece for this first order. And I'm like, at that point, I'm in a meeting. I'm just thinking about like 5,000. Everything else like that was discussed. I couldn't remember, but all I remember was I'm like, this 5,000. I'm like, how are we gonna do this Tunde? How are we gonna do this? So like the whole entire week, I'm just like driving on the freeway. Like,
y'all hold up, bitch, y'all missed it though. He said he worked at the YMCA.
I'm like, man, it's 5,000. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? How are we gonna do? We have to get a second job. What are we gonna do? Blah blah. So I'm just like, look, let's go all in.
Come on.
Let's go all in, because I trust this guy. Because I mean, had it not been for this guy, I would have went to college. Because I remember it was August 2004. He's like, all right, Tunde. He picked me up, took me to ACC down the street, made me register. Because I was just like, look, the two schools I wanted to go to, they ain't want me. I'm like, I'll figure it out. I work at Blockbuster, blah, blah, blah. He's like, nah.
Glad you didn't stay at Blockbuster.
Right. So I'm just like, look, I'm like, I trust Fola. Like, I trust Fola with my life. So I'm just like, look, I'm like, let's go. I'm like, let's go. And I'm like, ain't no looking back. And I'm happy. Like, that was one instance that I'll never forget. Because I'm just like, that $5,000, I'm just like, man, I could do so much more with $5,000. But I'm just like, look, let's go all in.
Yeah.
That's so you just heard what he said. It was deep. So for me, I'm usually like the front runner, like the visionary when it comes to a lot of things, Southern Gents. So I come up with ideas, I come up with projects, or I come up with like a roadmap for like what I think we can do, right?
Yeah.
And so to pick off exactly where he left off, it's funny because what he said like is exactly like my story when you say like, when you talk about tough times, like times that you really like had to like pull through. There were times it was hard. It was hard because, I talked to the rest of my guys, the rest of my team, and, you know, somehow I'm just thankful for them because, you know, this is really very much so a team effort, right? We all, like, teamwork makes the dream work. Like, we say that all the time. And so when, you know, we have these conversations and we're like, okay, you got to put in $5,000 or whatever. There's times where I felt like we were failing, right? And it was like really hard for me because I had to, basically it was like, I got to come through for the rest of the guys, right? Because I know like they believe in me, like they believe in the vision. And so it was hard because sometimes it's like we went days without selling a single product, right? Like,
that's
and
tough,
it's like,
man.
I never wanted to feel like I was wasting his time. Or, you know, like I let anybody down. So I had my struggles of like depression, like just trying to like figure out like why weren't things going the way like I thought that they could go. Because for me, I've always been like super resilient, and I've always been, I've kind of always found a way to succeed at anything. Like I just always have a knack for figuring things out. And business was one of my toughest things because it's like, there's no blueprint, right? Nobody can tell you, this is what you need to do. Like what we're trying to do, a couple of guys from A-Leaf, nobody's done this before, right? We're doing this without any funding, any blueprint. And you can't really talk to anybody in retail because everybody's super possessive because it's a dog-eat-dog world. So I had to figure it out. And so, you know, my wife was like a huge support system for me. She was somebody who I was able to like vent to and talk through a lot of like my ideas and my struggles. And she would always motivate me. But I just kind of like went deep into like just a lot of research, like Gary Vee. Like I have a ton of internet mentors.
For sure.
They don't know that they're my mentors, but like I could tell you what video, what he said, what, you know, and I will watch Gary Vee keynote speeches. Seth Godin is like one of my favorite people because everything he says is super practical. And I think one of my favorite Seth Godin terms is something that really like lit a fire into me is that you only need 1,000 true fans, right? So you don't need to wake up every day trying to please everybody.
Come on.
Right? You have to have a core mission and you need to go above and beyond and serve. And those people will be your fans forever. And so once I figured that out, I started just like, you know, coming up with these little hacks and like we would do something. Soon as I noticed that they were bought in, I was just like, okay, whatever I got to do. It was kind of like this flow, right? We would just go round and round, like pass the torch. And we just focus, man, like just focus, hardcore focus, like turn out all the noise, sacrifices, stop going to as many parties.
It's amazing what you can do when you
stop taking trips. You know, I'm a car guy, so I had at some point, because at the same time we're in college, we're going to college, we graduated, successful careers. I had an M3 BMW that I loved, right?
Sure.
I started looking at everything and I'm like, okay, this is where I'm saying like I want to go. I'm like, this car don't fit in my plans because I'm over here paying $600 a month on a car that I love, but what do I love more? Where I want to be or the car that I'm driving. So, man, I put that thing on Auto Trader, listed it, you know, bought a cash car. There was just a period where I just like really mentally, I just went all in and like, my habits just changed, right? Because I knew that for me, it was like a crossroads. It was like do or die. You know, it's hard when you spend because $5,000, that was just one order. So we had gone
there was going to be another order after
like
that.
We didn't put up 15, 20K and you sitting here looking at a product and you're not seeing no orders coming in. You're like, man, what's wrong? Like, you know, so much self-doubt starts to kick in. And at that point, like, that was like, for me, like, you know, like you go over this hill, like you rode a bike over a steep hill and it feels like you're not going to make it. And as soon as you cross over it, it's just like, all right, like,
here we go.
It's on now. Like it's, you know, so for me, once I crossed that other side, it was just like 100 miles an hour, just figuring out a way. I think one of the things that I struggled with was learning how to be a leader, right? Because that wasn't something that everybody wants to be a leader, but nobody knows what that really means. So it required a bunch of selflessness, humility, and accountability, right? Like, I can't tell them to do nothing that I'm not willing to do. So it's just been a team effort. Faith has been like definitely a mustard seed, because everything from where we started off to where we are now, the only thing that got us here was faith. Like, you know, believing that, you know, things were possible.
Come on.
And also having a sense of brotherhood and believing in each other.
Yeah.
And that's really the only thing that sets us apart from any other person, any other business. I think that's what sets people apart from success and failure. Like, how much do you believe that you can push through to the other side? And so, you know, we're here. This is my brother. Like, he trusts me with his life. I trust him with my life. Like, there's times that
I've called in the trenches. And
when my car breaks down, like, has broken down in the past.
Not the
driving
BMW.
a cash car, not the BMW, the cash car. You know, timing belt broke or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, alternator went out. Tane's the guy, right? Like, I know he has my back, and so it's comforting to know that you can walk through the fire and you don't have to do it by yourself.
Dog, yeah.
When I remember we were living downtown, East Downtown, we were roommates, me, him, and our friend Lee. I didn't think he was serious about selling his M3.
Yeah.
Man, I go to the garage one day. I open the garage. I turn the light on. I go to the door. I'm like, wait, what is this? I'm like, yo. I said, Lee, is this your car? And Lee was like, nah, it's not my car. I'm like, and then
he automatically assumed it was Lee's.
Yeah. Me and Lee looked at each other. We were like, Fola really sold the M3. And at that point, I was just like, okay, all right. I was like, all right.
Hold on. But what did he get though?
You got a Volkswagen?
Man, I went through. It's crazy. How much time we got?
Look,
because I went.
The car didn't fit him. That's all I knew. I was just like, why'd you get this?
So, and that's, you know, my boys are ragging on me and stuff like that. But, you know, the good thing is, like, I got the car because I'm a gearhead. So I got a GTI. I was like, you know, they were like, man, why you get that car, man? It's a soccer mom car. You tripping, man. You get the M3 back. So, you know, but, you know, I had to hold on to, like, I knew why I did it. I didn't do it. I did it for, like, not because I could have kept the other car, but it was just like, it was kind of like a cancer in my finances, right? Like, and it was just like, I had to cut it out.
Dog.
So I kind of like went back and forth with cars. I got like, I ended up after that getting a different BMW after GTI, because I'm like, oh, like, nah, like, you know, you go through these moments in your mind, because I'm like you're sacrificing too much. Like, because at this point, graduated college, went to grad school, had a master's.
Yeah.
Took a CPA exam and passed. So I'm feeling like, man, I did everything I need to do. Like, I could at least do this. But it's like, you know, you got to be honest with yourself.
And where you are in the season.
It's what I said I wanted. So it didn't matter what I thought I had did to deserve anything. It was like, where we're trying to go, like, where does this all really fit? So eventually, like, after going through a couple cars, I'm like, look, like, and then we have a friend, Lee. One day we were like hanging out, and Lee was like, oh yeah, like, man, I just paid off my student loans. I'm like, damn, we just paid off his student loan. I'm like, shit. Like, I still got like 40K left. So I was like, you know what?
Know what I mean?
and then that like the GTI that I had was a little bit newer that I got. So I just initially like drastically reduced my payments. And at that point, when my friend told me like student loan like payoff, whatever, you know, we started having like debt-free conversations, like, you know, like talking about getting out of debt. And I started, it just put my mind in a different mode, in a different gear. And I'm like, look, like, all right, like no car payments. I started looking for cash cars.
Yeah.
And so, like a couple months after that, went the cash car route. I'm like, look, and instead of telling myself like, oh, I deserve to have this, I deserve to have this, I deserve to do this, I told myself, I'm not getting nothing else until we're successful, period. Like, that's the real landmark, right? Because it's like, you know, saying like you graduated a program, whatever, that's great. But again, what are your goals, right? Like our goal was to create a successful business. And so I was like, man, forget all that stuff, like whatever. I'm like, I don't deserve to have nothing until we work this out, and it worked out.
That's dope, man. Even after the masters, all the exams, I don't deserve to have nothing. Bro, people still rag on me because of my mom van, dog. I drive around in a Chrysler Town and Country that I love, by the way.
Yeah. That's all that matters.
Hey, I love
that
I'm telling you, dog, the seats fold into the ground. Like, I've said this on numerous episodes. The boys probably think I'm lying, but I'm not. Like, I had to, you know, I got rid of the Dodge Ram, the Navigator, you know what I'm saying? I was like, hey, as our family grew, you know, like even like the SUVs just weren't really comfortable, bro. So I copped the van, and the doors slide out.
Whipping it.
I drive that joint. I pull up on boys like like I'm in a Rolls Royce, dog. But with 5 kids, it's just more practical.
Yep.
So I feel you, man. I feel you. Well, dog, I got one last question for you, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
And I ask everybody this every time we sit down, and for some reason I feel like it's very befitting for you guys, right? I think y'all are very indicative of what we try to put out there into the universe at Grown and Saved. But I want to know, man, without me telling you anything, what does the phrase grown and saved mean to you? If it's the first time you've ever heard it, you've never seen anything I've ever put out there, what does grown and saved represent to you?
So I'm gonna break it up. So grown is a mindset. Grown is not defined by age. It's just, by mindset and experiences. We all have experiences, we all have a story, right? The ability to learn from that story and gain the experiences that's gonna help navigate you either positively, forward direction, or backwards direction. We are facing adversity. That's one thing that we learn in football is adversity. Adversity can either make you or break you. For many people, it breaks them, unfortunately. For others, it makes you. And once it makes you, it's like a breakthrough, right? And then it's just like you can overcome anything. Once you're able to go through adversity, you can overcome anything. Nothing is a challenge for you. Nothing's an obstacle. Nothing's an obstacle. It's a challenge, and you want to conquer that challenge. So that's for grown. For saved, the way I understand it, or the way I attribute it to my life, would be just keeping focus on the source, and how the source is benefiting my life and positioning me in different spaces that I'll never be able to position myself. He has an ultimate goal for me, and our paths all look different, but I'm not here by accident.
Come on.
This is all purposeful. So I just leave it at that.
Yeah, I love it, dog.
I'll take off what he would say, like Tunde said, definitely realizing, that there's definitely a higher power, and it's not about us, right? That's as we move into this social media world or like generation, it's like, we tend to naturally focus and shift attention towards us, right? Everybody wants to be somebody, right? And so for me, when I think about saved, it's about reminding myself that this is not about me. This is like, whenever I get on a plane, it's like one of the most kind of like reflective moments for me, because it just reminds me how small I am, right? Like how small we are. Because you go up a couple thousand feet and you start seeing lights and cars, everything just become a tiny dot. And it's just like, like to think about yourself all the time is just not the way, right? So that's really big for me, trying to be the best version of me and trying to put out, it's all about energy, trying to put out great vibrations into the universe, trying to inspire people, trying to lead by example, we all complain about the world we live in, but using our lives as an opportunity to make the world a better place. And then going back to grown, everything that Tunde said is definitely spot on. People grow older, but we don't grow wiser. Growth is a choice.
Yeah.
Everybody grows old. So we have to kind of all take a step back. And in order to grow, growth is a conscious decision.
Come on.
So as we have more time, which time to me is the only luxury here on this earth, what are you going to do with that time? That's how I say it.
We appreciate your time, and I can assure you it was not in vain, because if nothing else, I'm inspired. You know what I'm saying?
We appreciate you for having us.
I learned that I need to get a tailor. But I appreciate you guys for real, bro. I really do, man. Y'all are the realest. Listen, tell everybody out there in the universe how we can connect with you and become a part of the Southern Gents Secret Society.
Take us home, too.
You got to go ahead.
Check us out at southerngents, s-gents.com. We're on Instagram at s_gents, that's GENTS. We're also launching a new YouTube platform, YouTube series of video coming out every week. And you ain't got to buy nothing. Just come check us out, hit the follow button. like, comment, and yeah, much respect, much love to everybody out there. Thank you guys for having us, and it's been fun.
That's it, man. That's a wrap, man. I appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to go follow, like, all that good stuff, man. Look, he said y'all ain't gotta buy nothing. Y'all ain't even gotta buy nothing. All right. Well, we'll see y'all next week. Peace.